What is going on, Laker fans? Happy Monday morning. Not exactly the most glorious Monday morning. Lakers 2 losses over the weekend. Loss to the Jazz on Friday night. Loss yesterday afternoon to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got another one coming up here later tonight, taking on the Utah Jazz on the road. So appreciate you guys being a part of Lakers Talk Daily. Please subscribe to ESPN. You're already on the page. I mean, just subscribe to the channel here, ESPN LA. Just hit that subscribe button. I'm going to spend a little time here primarily talking about Anthony Davis. Primarily talking about who's supposed to be one of the best players on the team and obviously one of the franchise players. I'm talking about Anthony Davis here over these last couple of days. Doing the postgame show yesterday on 710 ESPN. And we're, sitting there, and I got Spectrum Sportsnet in the background, so I'm seeing who they're interviewing, who's coming up, all that other good stuff. They have a stat. Put up a stat here. Anthony Davis. In his last 3 games in the fourth quarter, Laker fans, I'm going to throw some stats for you. Versus the Pelicans, he had 2 points, 0 for 2 from the field in the fourth quarter against the Pelicans. Against the Jazz, 0 points, 0 for 1 in the fourth quarter against the Utah Jazz. And then versus the Cavaliers, the Cavs yesterday, 0 points, did not take a shot in the fourth quarter of yesterday's game. So, and just to kind of add some context, the Pelicans game, that went into overtime. He had 5 extra minutes. Still, just 2 points in the fourth quarter, 0 for 2 from the field. The game against the Jazz, I'm use that one as an example. He had 20 points in the first half. He had 2 points in the second half. Lakers are not losing games just because Anthony Davis is not getting shots in the fourth quarter. However, when you're sitting at 2-7 and you're looking at your best players and you're looking at LeBron, who clearly has not been himself for the start of this season, whether that he had some type of stomach flu that was being passed around, maybe he's not healthy, he's turned his ankle, or Bron could just be struggling. He's shooting 21% from the three-point line, which I think is the worst in the NBA right now, based off anybody who's taken 50-plus attempts. So Bron hasn't obviously been LeBron James. You really, really start depending on Anthony Davis. And, my issue here is not that if Anthony Davis had 2 points and 0 and 0 in the fourth quarter in his last 3 games, I would say, okay, well, how many shots did he take? Did AD take a ton of shots? So if I'd rather have AD go 0 for 14 in the fourth quarter than go 0 for 3 in the fourth quarter, which he did in those 3 games combined. He was 0 for 3. All right? I'd rather have Anthony Davis take 10 shots in the fourth quarter, every fourth quarter, and be 0 for 30 than to only take 3 shots. The point that I'm trying to make is, you want an aggressive Anthony Davis, or you want an Anthony Davis that is kind of just going through the motions in that fourth quarter? I'll take an aggressive Anthony Davis. I don't know if that's what we're going to get. I don't know if, Anthony Davis game to game, day to day is going to give you what you're looking for. But when I just saw that stat yesterday, I got, you get frustrated because when you have somebody that's that talented and when the Lakers are losing and you want Anthony Davis, AD just take over and AD be that guy that you were a couple years ago, it's frustrating to see that. We talk about it, from a Laker perspective. We always say, well, if LeBron James and Anthony Davis are healthy, how many times have we had that conversation for the last couple of years? They're playing in these games. I mean, the only game Anthony Davis missed, 1 game against Minnesota. He's played in the other 8 games. They're 2-7. I'm going to read off a quote here after the game. Bron was asked about this. He said, obviously starts with AD and getting him more touches. Our focal point is and always should be to make sure he touches the ball throughout the course of possessions, quarters, and halves. Russ was asked about it. I don't know whose primary job it is, to be honest. He's talking about getting Anthony Davis the ball. I'll leave it up to the coaches to figure out the best way for them to utilize him. When I'm in, I do the best job I can of making reads, try to make the game easier for him when I'm in. Okay, so a couple things. Obviously, 2 different perspectives. Bron has got one perspective. Russ has got another perspective. How about this? How about AD, go get the ball? How about AD, call for the ball? How about Anthony Davis, get into a Russell Westbrook, a LeBron James, a Lonnie Walker IV, an Austin Reeves, a Kendrick Nunn. Doesn't matter who the player is. Give me the damn ball. And that's, I think, part of the frustration from Laker fans is we don't see that. And he doesn't demand the ball. And he does kind of have this calm, cool, collective response on a game-to-game basis, which I think is of benefit at times And then I also think there's times where you're asking him, no, AD, the Lakers don't win this game unless you start taking over. And you can make that case a lot of the times. And that to me is just kind of glaring so far, especially these last 3 games. The team is 2-7. And this game, after tonight's game against the Utah Jazz, they can obviously, Utah's playing good ball. They already beat the Lakers on Friday. They beat the Clippers yesterday at Crypto.com. So Jazz came into Crypto and just swept both the Lakers and the Clippers. And you know that crowd up in Utah is going to be rocking tonight, and they're going to be excited tonight. And the Lakers could very easily, through the first 10 games, fall to 2-8. It obviously you start reaching a point in the season, especially in the Western Conference, when you're 10 games in, that it makes it just an incredible challenge to rebound from. So, Laker fans, I'll throw this out to you guys. What have you thought of Anthony Davis here these last couple of games? I know the easy answer is he's not aggressive enough. Should we expect anything to change, or should we just expect this to be the norm? So please comment below. Thank you for being a part of the show. Lakers and the Jazz tonight. We'll have all your action of the game starting. It's a weird start time. 7:15 is the start time, so I'll start doing the pregame show with Michael at 5:45. So thank you for being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel. Have a great rest of your day, Laker fans.